Native to the planet Hoth, Wampas are known as the apex predator of that planet, with their only competition being themselves here, preying on the likes of the Tauntas and any human that's foolish enough to come to their planet and into their territory, or even build on their planet. Wampas do not discriminate in what they eat, as again, they have very little versatility. However, we're going to throw the Wampa into an Ice Age paradise, an Ice Age all-you-can-eat buffet, North America. So, without further ado, hope you guys enjoy this video. Comment, like, and subscribe, and share it with your friends. However, before we even get into this here, shout out to this comment for actually guessing it. I didn't think it was that obvious. I thought I would probably be creative and throw it in with like maybe Antarctic dinosaurs, but I guess it was that obvious, huh? So let's talk about the Wampa stats, and well, obviously it's going to be placed in North America, so let's talk about it here. Now, the Wampa itself, native to the planet Hoth, actually has a thick layer of fur to help it during those blizzard times, and pretty much actually stands at 2.5 meters tall or 8 feet. Yeah, this dude is in the NBA automatically. Bro could dunk if he wanted to. Now, Wampas are incredibly strong and incredibly durable, actually being able to kill Tauntauns with a single slash. However, the way Wampas eat, and this may make you hold your ankles a little bit because I know it did here, is very interesting here. Now, what they actually do is they drag their prey back to their icy caves here. And, well, they actually hang their prey or impale it on ice shards and actually let it marinate in the cold for a little bit before eating it. Now, Wampas are actually pretty messy eaters as well, as their dens and caves and stuffs here will be littered with thousands upon thousands of bones of the Tauntas. However, they don't eat pretty often. Well, oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. They don't eat rapidly. They're not ravenous carnivores. They'll eat what they can catch, and believe it or not, they do have somewhat of a pack orientation to where they will hunt to kill, share it a little bit before dragging it back to their individual caves for, well, their own nourishment. So with that being said here, Wampas are incredibly strong, incredibly durable, and incredibly intelligent as well. Now, Wampas are also known to, I guess you could say the males and females kind of do stay within the same vicinity of each other, with Wampa females actually having one or two children, and they will actually stay in their cave with an abundance of food for the months that the children are to grow. Now, Wampas are not really known to be tamed here. However, a Night Sister, I believe in the Legends novelizations here, was able to tame a Wampa via her own dark magic. So, with that being said here, yeah, they are very formidable predators, and they do have apparently some form of pack communication here or communal settings here where they will help each other out. So with that being said, let's actually discuss the first thing here, and that is going to be prey. Now, this is basically everything that the carnivore can eat. The carnivore or the herbivore can eat here. I guess I do need a herbivore here at some point here. But the next one will be, and obviously spoilers ahead, the Sando Aqua Monster. But in North America, this is actually going to be a very big eye-opener to the Wampa, as it has a variety of food it could prey upon, from the mammoths to even the smallest invertebrates here. Believe it or not, dropping in a couple Wampas, and let's say we drop in around 10. 5 males, 5 females, okay? That should, do it. All in the North American ecosystem where it's more up north, where it's colder. I think that should be pretty simple for them. Now, back to their prey items. Believe it or not here, when they're actually hunting, I do believe they will actually be a bit picky about what they eat here. Now, again, smaller creatures like Castoroides are pretty safe in short terms here. In a long run, yeah, they can be preyed upon, but they won't be preyed upon so often because they do have their own escape means, that being the water. This will be if the Wampas do decide to go into these more warmer climates here, or the warmer parts of America, which I can then see them actually being able to shed their fur. Sorry, I don't know why it took me so long to say that. But they should be able to shed their fur and go out hunting. Now, bison are pretty common there, even the prehistoric bison as well here. Now, these bisons had longer horns, and the males could definitely defend themselves just as much as the females could. However, I do believe the Wampa'S would definitely employ more ambush tactics as they do with the Tauntauns. As again, they are able to one-shot them, but again, the Tauntauns actually have good eyesight within the snow, so they kind of wait for like the right moment to strike them or sneak up behind them in order to get them. Now, another thing we also have to note about Wampa'S is that they are known to follow herds of creatures, as males typically don't stay in their caves for too long and will go out and travel to follow migrating herds, which again is pretty common around Hoth, so you'll probably see more of abundance of Wampa caves and stuff like that here as they're following the migratory herds of their prey. Now, some of these prey items as well will also include, like I said earlier, the bison, the megaloceros, which again was a deer, so it's very possible that these giant deer and stuff moved in herds, as well as the prehistoric moose, prehistoric bison, woolly rhinos. I'm not too sure, but we'll talk about them in a little bit here. But again, megaloceros should be a very easy prey for them. However, one of the more, I guess you could say probably their favorite prey, in my opinion, will be the camelops and other prehistoric alpacas. Now, this is actually pretty interesting here because, again, the tauntaun actually resembles more of a snow alpaca than anything here. Wampa'S love these guys like it is their bread and butter. And again, camelops being a North American camel, or an Ice Age camel, if you will, here, I don't think that's going to help it in the long run here. I think that the Wampa'S would definitely have this guy as their preferred food source. Matter of fact, I could probably see Wampa'S specializing in hunting camelops more than any other creature. It's very possible that will be their niche as well. Now, we also have to talk about some of the more dangerous prey items, like the Jefferson ground sloths, Megatherium, or Remotherium, you name it. These ground sloths here are no joke here. And if they do, manage to get in like a whole bunch of groups and stuff for like mating seasons, then that's kind of a no-go for a Wampa. However, in a one-on-one scenario, I do think that it's a 50-50. It's definitely going to be a brutal battle, but I can actually see the Wampa coming out on top because it has more weapons at its disposal. However, again, that doesn't mean the ground sloth won't seriously injure it or cripple a Wampa if the fight comes down to it. So it's very possible that the Wampa'S may actually use their more pack-orientated hunting styles for not only the ground sloths, but also the mammoths as well. However, pack hunting for the Wampa'S is like more than at least one or two. There's never been a recorded moment at least more than 3, but it's very possible that there could be more and we just haven't seen it, or Star Wars people just haven't seen it. Again, more theory about that, but again, against a herd of mammoths, I don't think there's too much competition here. The Wampa'S would have to really be starving to like try and attack a mammoth here. Now again, I do think that a pack of them, or at least a group of them, could take down a Wampa. I definitely think they would be able to like slash it around, use their more blizzard-like environment to take down a mammoth via the ambush and via, I guess you could say, a lot of damage here. However, if the mammoths don't panic and they're able to keep themselves solid in a group here, then, well, yeah, the Wampa'S aren't really going to do so much about that. Best that they could actually do on a regular basis is any young member that strays too far from the herd. And again, maybe inexperienced individuals with a Wampa. So, yeah, Wampa'S can definitely take down a mammoth, but again, not the ideal prey. Same with the woolly rhinos, and these are definitely not going to be ideal prey, even for a group of Wampa'S. Now, rhinos do sometimes travel in pairs, and on those occasions, I could definitely see even a team of Wampa'S backing away from that. Now, again, in a one-on-one situation, I do not favor the Wampa at all. It can damage the woolly rhino if it lands a hit, but again, the woolly rhino is able to outpace it. By the way, do you know Wampa'S actually like to go and hunt on all fours to actually stalk their prey and stuff before actually, killing it and stuff here? But overall, with other creatures like mooses, elk, the prehistoric versions obviously, maybe some doedicurises, if they are able to shed their fur and migrate to warmer climates and stuff there. Yeah, believe it or not, I do think the Wampa'S would not know, they wouldn't know what to do with themselves with all this prey. I do think some of them would definitely participate in niche partitioning and kind of keeping away from other generations of Wampas because, again, they will have the time to adapt to their environment and get their population going. And then again, they also will be inhabiting more cave-like regions. Considering there were more rock-like caves than ice caves in general, this does mean that the Wampas are going to have a lot less work to do when it comes to picking their environment. However, this will lead into other things, which we'll be talking about soon. However, most dangerous prey items, I don't see them attacking very often, like the ground sloths, the mammoths, and the rhinos. I don't see them attacking that very often. Smaller creatures, I do think they are relatively a bit safer because they aren't really their ideal choice of prey, but that doesn't mean they wouldn't take the opportunity to snatch one up if they wanted to. And again, against something like a mammoth, a ground sloth, and a woolly rhino, again, I'm favoring the herbivore a bit more. However, the ground sloths, they probably could get away a bit more because, again, it is slower, but it would have to really take a pack of them, or at least a duo of them, to actually subdue the ground sloth without causing too much injury to themselves here. Then you have the camelops, which I think will be their most common or their go-to prey here, but they wouldn't overhunt. They never really do that unless they're like breeding. So it's very possible you may see a diversity in prey within their caves. So that would actually mean that the Wampas would actually be, they would actually go down to some of the most interesting predators in history, in my opinion here. I mean, having them string their prey up by the ceiling here and then letting it marinate then before ripping it apart, and then the amount of prey they keep in their caves as well. Yeah, so they're going to go down as one of the more terrifying creatures in history. Now, let's talk about competition. Now, usually this part here isn't really, I guess you could say in most cases, it isn't really long for like certain creatures here. But believe it or not, the Wampa is actually different in this situation here. There are actually threats to it on the field and in its own home, believe it or not. Let's start off with the most common one, saber-tooth, right? Smilodon, Homotherium, Thylacophilus, well, that is a marsupial, but you guys get my point here. Any Xenosmilus, excuse me, the American lion, the European lion, you know, big cats, prehistoric big cats is what I'm trying to say here. Now, the threat to a single Wampa is very great here. I do think that they would be able to drive off Wampas from their kills if they wanted to. And believe it or not, I do think a pack of them could easily, well, not easily, but they could definitely hunt a Wampa. However, a pair of them, yeah, I definitely see the saber-tooths backing off. Now, next up, we have the direwolves, and pretty much the same situation here. Direwolves are probably just like regular wolves, when known to harass their much larger predators from their prey here in order to leave it, just to avoid the harassment and possibly injury as well here. However, if they do feel bold enough to take on a Wampa, I do think they would be able to accomplish it, believe it or not. But like the saber-tooths, they wouldn't risk it. Now, let's go into a much more even fight. Arctodus. Now, believe it or not, these guys are definitely going to be the main competition for more out there or more land-filled prey. Okay, Arctodus versus a Wampa, I could definitely see that being a match for the ages. The bear is definitely big enough, if not possibly slightly bigger than the Wampa. I think they stood over like 9 feet tall, which is like 1 foot taller than the Wampa. And believe it or not, I could see these guys competing for much larger prey if they decide to go there. If Wampas can't catch something, I do see maybe a specific group of Wampa specializing in hunting down mammoths, while others will specialize in hunting down things like the camelops, the deers, horses, and stuff like that there. And believe it or not, I could actually see that going either way in a one-on-one situation. However, if it's a 2v1 or a 3v1, yeah, it's pretty much over. But let's talk about the threats to Wampas when they're in their caves here. And I think this would actually be where their main competition comes from. So this would actually be the cave lion, the cave hyena, and the cave bear. Each of these three have one thing in common. They're mainly found in caves. They were known to use caves as their main territory, or even again were fighting each other for the domination of the cave or to get rid of the competition. Now, let's start off with the cave hyena. Now, these guys are definitely going to be a threat to female wampas here. Now, the reason why I'm going to specialize or specify on the female gender of the wampas is because, again, they rarely leave their caves and pretty much already stock up on food when they're about to give birth here. And keep in mind, they have to take care of 1 or 2 infants. So believe it or not here, cave hyenas being attracted to the scents of their caves, because again, they are pretty messy, will likely put the children of the wampas in danger. And if they roam in packs like regular hyenas here, then that's going to be a big problem. Unless they actually live in a much more communal system where the wampas are definitely just gonna just butcher the hyenas and just have something else to eat. Now, again, while I do think, again, they are competition, they are threats, they are still prey. It does not matter in Star Wars whether or not you are a predator versus another predator. They may still wind up eating you regardless. Again, I find it very hilarious here because, again, in Star Wars, it's just like a very lackluster discrimination unless it's against your own species. So with that being said, let's move on to the cave lions. Now, while they are a bit stronger physically than the cave hyena, I don't see them being too much of a threat here against even a single female wampa, as apparently by the science, it's very iffy if they actually had prides. American lions apparently had prides, but apparently cave lions didn't for some reason. Like, they apparently had like 1 or 2 of them just around. So if that's the case, then a female wampa should be able to take them out before they could get to her children and, well, be fine. But again, it may come at the cost of some injury because, again, these cave lions are pretty powerful. However, if she is able to successfully take them out, then, well, she's got extra food. Shoot, them kids are just going to have to eat lion meat or lion ribs for a couple more days. Now, while I do think that male wampas would not have a problem with cave lions as well here, it would probably be because I would be downplaying the American lion here and kind of just uplifting the wampa. But it is very possible that the wampas could just one-shot them with a well-placed swipe. Now, let's go into their more even contemporaries, the cave bear. Now, believe it or not, competition between these two would be very little, but definitely the most even levels of competition, in my opinion. You see, their competition would be territorial disputes. And believe it or not here, I don't think the wampas would really go out their way to prey upon a cave bear. I do think if the wampa definitely senses that a cave bear is in there and that it's a female with a cub, then it's very possible it's definitely going to be in a competition way. But if the wampa is, well, feeling bold enough, then we definitely could see ourselves having a much more even clash here versus a wampa versus a cave bear. And believe it or not here, that can go either way, which both sides causing each other serious injury and could possibly lead to a stalemate. Both of their furs and hides are pretty thick here, meaning that, well, they won't slash through each other like hot knives through butter. There's definitely going to be a long, bloodied out battle with one side winning by some means. Maybe the wampa's greater intelligence, or if it's more than one wampa, then they could just jump the bear, take it out, and feast upon it. So, again, wampa actually does have some difficult time, but I don't really see it getting overwhelmed by its competition. But the bears are definitely the most even of the competition here. Now, next off, we do have the long-term effects here. Now, early humans and stuff here are definitely going to be encountering wampas, especially if they go into like the more Arctic-like territories here and stuff here. However, I do think the long-term effect of the wampa is definitely going to be in a more mythological setting. And believe it or not, I do think they survived to the modern day, just like the next two. Any evolved species of wampa that likely specialized in things like mammoths and ground sloths and stuff like that, I do think they would probably go extinct because they are not built for anything fast moving. So believe it or not, any evolved species would go out and the regular species would be able to come into modern time, but it's definitely certain that they would actually be the more abominable snowman archetype here. Now you might say, why would I say that here? Because I do think the Wampa'S mythos would definitely inspire the abominable snowman, and definitely have it definitely have it as an actual animal rather than a myth here. This means that humanity's hiking days would be behind them. And I mean that fully. Like, there is no if, and, or buts about it. We're not going into the woods as much as we should here. And again, there would definitely be remains of things like mammoths, camelops, and whatever creatures that the Wampa'S keep in their cave. But again, they would still be hunting things like bison, pronghorn, grizzly bears, brown bears. They definitely will be hunting moose, elk, and stuff like that there. And believe it or not, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't hunt us either, or hunt things like mountain lions and wolves, because now they're just they're the tip top of the food chain now. The best way I could actually see it happening is if people start going into the woods for long, in groups and stuff. They definitely don't travel alone. It's definitely going to be recommended now. You're going to be heavily armed to the teeth in there with things like shotguns, rifles, armor-piercing bullets to actually go through their hide like a hot knife through butter. And we may even have to develop higher calibers for the Wampa'S just to defend ourselves here. And it's definitely going to be recommended that during like blizzards, everyone just remains in their house here, just so they don't have to deal with it. Or basically stay in their houses, make sure they don't have anything that the Wampa can smell right away, and definitely have any high caliber rounds at the ready just in case. But only for those who live in those much more colder areas and stuff like that, like Canada, Alaska, and stuff like that there. But overall, I do think the Wampa does survive the Ice Age, and definitely can make it to modern day as a real Ice Age terror. But that's going to be all today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe, share it with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a blessed day.